Hi, I'm back with my video for tomorrow. I'm still unable to sleep. It's like 3 in the morning and I'm kind of bored, so I thought I would go ahead and start this video. It will be a two-part video because I have a lot of information to go over. This video is regarding swingers versus traditional marriages. The rise in swingers across America has grown, significant. It's just a very, very common thing. Um, it's really become very popular. People are preferring to do this type of thing instead of being faithful to their partners because they do it together, but they don't seem to think there's anything wrong with it. Is it because people can't be satisfied with just one person? Is it because they can't be faithful? What are your comments about this? What are your thoughts? Do they not get jealous knowing that their spouse is sleeping with somebody else? Do they not get worried that somebody's going to satisfy them more or, take that person away from them? Because I know me personally, there's just no way I would ever want to be married to somebody or dating somebody, you know, um, for a long time and have a really good connection and have that person go sleep with other people. That's my personal opinion. I might not be secure enough in myself because of it. I might be jealous. I don't know, but that just really turns me off. I don't find sleeping with a bunch of people as a real big turn on. I think that when you have sex and you make that commitment to somebody, that's what makes the sex even more, fabulous. You should have a connection to where you shouldn't need anybody else to satisfy you besides that person that you're with, but that's my opinion. Why is sex such a big thing nowadays? Why is it talked about? Why is it everywhere that we go, we're seeing naked women, and every movie that we see, it's sex, and that's how they sell products now. Why is it so freely advertised? Why is it so freely for our children to see and our children to be exposed to, when back in the day it wasn't? Now everything's about sex. You go on Facebook and you see these naked women on there, and that's not supposed to be on there. It's supposed to be a family site. But of course, and nothing against men, but men love it. And it just makes you really wonder what's going on. I truly think what it is I truly think it's because Lilith, the demon, fallen angel, or the one that was Adam's wife at the beginning, is making sex out of control, making porn more desirable than actually being with somebody to watch that, or to not pay attention to your spouse because they're too busy watching porn all night and doing whatever they're doing to the porn, or they're making it real. It's not realistic to what people do on a normal, on an everyday basis. That stuff's fun. It's fun to watch porn, sure, when you're with your partner, and to kind of spice up your sex life, and to maybe learn new things or whatever people do, and that's fine. More power to you. And personally, I'll do stuff like that, but to have my spouse prefer to go watch porn than come to bed with me and actually have that, that intimacy and that connection is pretty, I don't think men realize what an effect that has on women, or vice versa, because a lot of women do the same thing. It really makes you feel insecure. It's like they're cheating on you. You feel like you've been cheated on. I had a husband that did that all the time, that was sneaking and doing it behind my back, and I'd pick up his phone and I'd find these nasty videos he's watching, like to the point where they were putting baseball bats up women, and it was I was just, it made me sick. It just really turned me off. for our children to see. Then they're with these women that they're showing in porns and on these magazines and on movies, and they're making it really unrealistic for our children to know that women, after having babies, and some women do, and I mean, I'm 43 years old and I don't look 43. I think I look pretty fucking hot for being 43, and I had a 9-pound kid, and I'm 5'1", and whatever else. But children nowadays, they're not as active as they used to be, so a lot of them are heavier, and it really affects their self-esteem. We have people that starve themselves to look like these women, and when people are paying to get their breasts enlarged, when breast cancer is such a huge problem in this world nowadays. And it's just, God created us to be the way that we are, to look the way that we are, because we're not all supposed to look like those women. And how sex isn't just an act that we are doing with somebody. It's became like, not like so much a game, it's became like it's honest to God, it's like almost disgusting if you think about it. If you think about, well, there's a lot to think about, but it's just not fulfilling to people anymore. They don't want to have commitment because they want to be able to sleep with whomever they want. They want freedom. Well, the thing is by the time I get done reading the statistics on sexually transmitted diseases, I hope it really makes people think. Why do people bother getting married if that's what they're going to want? If they're going to want to go sleep with other people, why make that commitment? Why make that unity? You make you make an oath to that partner, and under the eyes of God, under the word of God, that you're going to be faithful, and that's the one person that you're going to spend your life with. And then you're off sleeping with couples, and you're not just talking one couple. These swingers parties or whatever, or these underground sex rings and secret societies, I mean, it is wild. Everybody's fucking everybody. I mean, and to the point where it's like children and men on men and women on women. And don't get me wrong, because I have nothing against gay people. I mean, it doesn't affect me at all. I don't think it's disgusting. What I think is disgusting is when everybody is doing it just to satisfy their egos and their selfish needs and their desires, and what that's when I get turned off, like big time. But like I said, this is my opinion, so don't kill me in the comments. It feels like people aren't willing to have that traditional. I know things are different nowadays, and do I like it? No, because I'm a traditional person. I mean, there are things that I agree that should change, but when it comes to love and the way love's supposed to be, and living in a world that has no love towards one another anymore, it really makes my heart sad, and it really is hard to want to date, because when you do date somebody, there's no romance, there's no nothing. It's like you jump right in and they're ready to, all they talk about is sex, and I love sex, don't get me wrong. I love to be adventurous. I'm not boring. I've never had any complaints, but it's kind of just almost makes a person turned off. I mean, if you wanted that, you would just go, you could stay single and go sleep with whoever you want. But when you're trying to build a relationship and a connection, and you're wanting to be in love, and I mean, I've been married a couple times. I don't really care if I ever get married again. That's not that. I just want somebody that's going to respect me, that's going to be on, not just some sleazeball that wants me to be a hooker or, his bitch in bed or whatever. I mean, that's the newest thing. And I just have more self-love and more self-respect for myself than that. And I also, when I was younger, I I would mistake love and sex all the time. Well, now that I've experienced what I've experienced in my life, and I I know what the difference is, I don't have to go sleep with a bunch of people. I mean, it's easy enough to do all the stuff you need to do by yourself, and that you're not out there, you know, spreading your energy. Because I find it, it's you're sharing your energy with that person, and that's really important to me. And I don't need to share my energy with everybody. I do that enough just being kind and loving without having to do that. So, anyways, I'll keep going here. Do people not understand what has made our society the way it is? Do they not see what is going on? Why relationships aren't working? Why people aren't being faithful? Why people aren't wanting to commit? What our children, they're more advanced than we ever were. I mean, you're talking like 11-year-old girls having oral sex with boys because they think that it's okay. And I didn't even know what oral sex was until, I was a lot older, and I had a few brothers and a few sisters, and they were all older than me. And I remember the first time I had ever heard about a blowjob, and I'm like, well, what is that? And they explained it to me, and I was like, oh my God, no way. And I didn't do that till well after I was graduated high school. 20% of men during a survey admitted to cheating on their wives, and 13% of women admitted they cheated on their husbands. Instead of spicing up their marriage, instead of finding ways to connect, to build that bond again, to make their sex life more adventurous and more appealing, and having fun, and bringing the excitement back in, doing some role plays, having sex, women not or men not saying, oh, I'm too tired. I mean, it doesn't take very long to have sex, and if one person's tired, the other person can, that's their opportunity to get in there and do their thing, and really please that person and still get their pleasure too. I mean, do some role plays, be kinky, be rough, whatever it takes. Dress up, have, I mean, wear wigs, be a different person for your spouse or boyfriend or partner or whoever. Just put effort into it instead of just jumping on the bandwagon and doing what these people are doing. Everybody has sexual desire. Everybody has a lot. People just don't. Some people don't make it exciting. Some people just have better, they figure they have better things to do. And I think that, when you commit to somebody, you're also committing to fulfill their sexual needs. You're not committing to go take your partner and you go fulfill somebody else's needs. You're committing to fulfill each other's needs. Flirt, send, flirty texts throughout the day, excite each other throughout the day. So when you get home, you just can't barely make it through the door before you're ripping each other's clothes off, go have a sexy date, go dancing, and, tease each other and flirt with each other and do all that foreplay and kind of tease, kind of turn them on and turn them off, and, not turn them off, but like, then kind of shy away and play footsie under the table, or, do whatever it takes to bring that back in, to not have to go outside of that relationship or marriage. Communicate, talk about your needs. Don't be shy. Tell them what you like and what your fantasies are, and live out those fantasies. And if there's something that you really want to try, then try it. And hopefully your partner's open to it. And, I'm not saying be open to every single thing, because there's some weird shit out there, but you have to give and be more open, and just please each other instead of pleasing everybody else. Let me see here, what else I put. I put have dates. Cheating is, no matter what, when you go outside of your marriage or your relationship and you have sex, I don't care if you're the most confident person in the world, you cannot tell me that you're not feeling insecure, that you're not feeling some jealousy. I think that one of the partners are, and at times both partners want to do what they do. And more power to people that do that. I'm not coming down on them. I'm giving my opinion. I'm giving some ideas on how to avoid to have to do that. Is all I'm doing. I said to go dancing, have a romantic, sexy, date. Your spouse is in the shower, sneak up and kind of flirt with him, kind of watch him, and then sneak in there, and or somebody's cooking dinner, sneak up behind him, and just, there's so many ways you can spice up your sex life. Have sex outside, be adventurous, have it in the car, do it around like a crowd of people without them, not right in front of them, for the excitement of maybe getting caught, or be grabby, be bold, and touch each other in public, but not around kids and stuff. But what else? Communication's a huge thing. I just think that people need to communicate a lot more in this world. They need to just be honest and free, and have a domineering, like, kind of rough type whip, tie your hands up and feed each other, eat food off of each other, just pleasure each other. There's ways to really just satisfy a person. Sexually transmitted disease are extremely high in the swingers community. People fall in love all the time with someone they have had this relationship with. Marriages fall apart. No matter what people say, no matter what they claim, people do end up falling in love with other people. People do start having sex on the side without the other person knowing it. I mean, it's no different than cheating. I mean, it's just an excuse to be able to go sleep with somebody, and one person's probably really excited about it, and the other one just follows along. But truly, most people want love. They want more than just sex, and to receive that love, and to have that bond and that unity and that pure love and unconditional love is not going and sleeping in a group of people, or with a group of people, a couple. They go in one room, you go in another room. That's not doing it together. That's cheating on your spouse, no matter what people say. People kill each other because of this. They get so jealous. Yeah, it starts off all good, but then, after everything's said and done, they go home, and, like, say the male is sitting there thinking, some man's just romped my wife, and it's happened several times that they then try it again, or they find the wife with that person again, and people have actually killed other people because they have been so jealous over it. They say it isn't cheating. That's their opinion. Under the eyes of God, it is, if you're married, no matter what anyone says. Besides the person, okay, so I pretty much went over all that. This country is not being, I'm talking about God again more there. And, you know, we also need to look at the problems that we're having with human trafficking, also the underground child sex rings, the religious organizations that are promoting this. We have the cults in the world that have done this for, generation after generation after generation. It makes you wonder what is actually driving all of this to go on. And if you think about it, and I'm not one to preach God and to talk about the devil and stuff like that, but we are at a spiritual war here. And if you think about all the stuff that's going on, it doesn't fall under God's eyes, it falls under the devil's eyes. And to me, the devil is winning because no one is respecting each other. No one has any morals or any boundaries or want to live that one-on-one life with people and have that love and respect. And they don't even respect themselves, so how can they respect anyone else? I am a firm believer that when you're married, you're loyal to that person. You made a commitment to make that person happy. You made a commitment to be faithful to that person. And when everybody's breaking these commitments and everybody's doing all this, what do we think we're teaching our children? That it's okay to sleep with everybody. It's okay that if you're married to go to a party and pick out who you're going to sleep with for the night, and your dad's going in one room and your mom's going in another, and then they go home and do it again. Think about all the people that are sleeping together. It's pretty much almost everybody in the world. It's building this big bridge all over the world of people that are sharing their energy and it's almost horrifying to think about. It's almost like, to me, it turns my stomach. And I don't know. I don't know what people are thinking, and I just think it's really, really sad. I pray all the time, and I know that the reason why I'm decided to do this video tonight is because the universe wants me to bring all this stuff to people's attention, because the universe is actually not happy. They see what's going on. They see the problems that it's creating, and it's also not what God believes and not what we're supposed to be doing. But no one seems to care. I'm not religious. I don't believe in religious organizations. I think that they're also something that the universe is looking down upon, because we don't have to go anywhere to worship God. We can worship God on our own, in our homes, outside, while you're in the shower, while you're on the toilet. I mean, whatever you do, he states you don't need to go anywhere to worship him. You can worship him at any time. He's always here to listen to us. And I just got the chills, so I know I'm right. So that is a big message there. Who has respect for themselves, for the person, they're married to? No one. Not when you're doing that. We have people that are married to women. They get pregnant, and these men are killing their wives because they're having an affair with some lady at work, or they want somebody else. They don't divorce them. They kill them and their newborn baby and their children too. And then when they're done, when they're saying why they did it, it's because they say, the voices are telling me to, the voices are telling me to. And that's the devil. That's the devil doing all this. The devil having the sex like this. The devil wanting us to all be like this, because we're not living under the eyes of, and the beliefs of God anymore. and people don't see it, and they wonder why eventually they get hit with a tower and their life falls apart, and it's because of all the shady shit we're doing. It's all the people we're hurting. It's all the sins we're committing, you know? My opinion is if you have to sleep with other people, then there's to satisfy yourself, then your marriage or your relationship is not satisfying you. You need to get out of that and move on. If you want to sleep with everybody in the world, don't commit to anybody. That's your choice. But don't drag other people that don't want that life or don't want that want commitment and want that unity. Don't ghost them. Don't play with their heart and manipulate them and have them, start to have feelings for you, and you finally connect and then never talk to them again. What kind of person does that to another person? Well, it's happening all the time. It's more and more. If you're not being satisfied by your partner or your spouse or whomever, you need to communicate that to them. You need to tell them what will satisfy them. And if you're telling them that it's going to take another person or a group of people, then I hope that whomever you're with says, well, then have at it, but I'm not going to follow. Chlamydia and gonorrhea were over 10%, 10% among straight people, 14% among gay people, and under 5% were prostitute females, and 10.4% among swingers. So that's, pretty high. Female swingers had the highest infection rate than males, and in all that I just listed. So they actually are higher than prostitutes. So that says a lot. To me and to you, it should say a lot. They estimate that the swinger population could be millions across the world, and there is a risk of untreated STDs is building. There's a huge risk of untreated STDs because sometimes they don't have any symptoms. And, just like herpes, people don't realize that almost all people anymore have herpes. And when you have a flare-up of that and you go have sex with somebody and you're having oral sex, and can you imagine where you're spreading that everywhere. But people don't seem to think that's a big deal. It said that building a bridge across the country, going back and forth more than once, going back and forth, and it's possible for it to actually hit the entire population of these STDs, because these people are just free love and everybody wants to have intercourse with everybody, and nobody is taking responsibility and being protected and being, going to the doctor to make sure they don't have this stuff. They don't care. They just want to have more sex with everybody. In some places or countries, the numbers of patients by being treated for STDs in 2007 and 2008 have tripled in less than 1 year. And they actually ask them on their, not their applications, but on their paperwork, if they are a swinger or, what kind of sexually relationships are they having. And it was mostly swingers is what it was. And they keep tripling each year as more and more people fall into these groups. And the idea it's okay to sleep with everyone. Clinics started keeping track of whom people are sleeping with, what kind of relationship they're having, what kind of lifestyles. 3 clinics, there was 9,000 consultations that were linked to swingers because of sexually transmitted diseases. 7 out of 9 of these people were swingers at then averaged the age, they were the average age of 43 years old. Once 1 in 10 older swingers had chlamydia and 1 in 20 had gonorrhea. Chlamydia is the most common STD among women. Women and 70% cases cause no symptoms at all. So 50% of these are gone, they don't get treated. 70% out of 100% of swingers are likely to not be treated, and most have admitted to sleeping with over 10 to 15 people, different people than their partners, in a 2-month span. 91% of couples, of married couples, non-swingers, married couples. STDs by state. Mississippi is the highest. In 1 year, it was 740%. Nevada had 584. Louisiana was 774. California 585. New Mexico was 670. And where I live in Wyoming, it was 374. That was in 1 year, cases that were reported and that were treated. And 374 might not sound like that much, but in Wyoming it is, because we're a small state. And for Mississippi, for gonorrhea, it was 326. Nevada, it was 216. Louisiana, it was 257. California, 200. Mexico, it was 252. And here in Wyoming, it was 63. And then high school percentages of kids that just graduated. In Mississippi, it was 15. Nevada, 22. Louisiana, 14. California, 19. New Mexico, 14. And in Wyoming, it was 16. STD diseases are at a high, again, almost one of the highest rates that they have ever seen, and it's just rising. I mean, it's each year it goes up. Let me see what else. People that are a swinger and are living a swinger life say they do it to keep the relationships and marriages alive, so they don't get boring and stagnant, and it keeps their excitement, and then when they go home they have better sex, and because it creates jealousy, and that's exactly what they're telling you at the beginning, that they don't get jealous, but what it comes down to is they get so jealous that when they go home, sure, they're going to town and they're having some great sex, but they're also taking out their jealousy and their frustrations, their insecurities, and I don't care what anyone says, it's not healthy, it's not right, and it shouldn't be an accepted thing nowadays. People shouldn't just think, oh, it's, everybody does it, so I'm going to go do it, or whatever. There's AIDS out there, there's probably diseases that we don't even know about. And, people are fond of having, like, anal sex, and really, you need to clean that area really well before you do that type of stuff, because of all the bacteria that lives in there. But people don't think about that either. What else do I have? People, in this country and in our communities and in this world no longer have love towards each other, no longer have they don't no longer have the kindness and the generosity and what we need to live as a society, to not have anger and violence and hate and just have to deal with rude people and people that don't give a shit about anybody except themselves. And without us loving and, you know, doing the things that God wanted us to all do, to be good people and to live healthy lives and to live as man and women, or as a couple, or as partners, men and men and women, or however, without being able to express that, and without people not paying attention to it and not caring about it and not respecting themselves or the people that they say they love, and it isn't bringing the light to this world, it's only creating darkness. These type of things only create darkness. They're not, when you go to these type of things, you're not in the light, you're in the darkness. We all live in the dark at many times in our life, and we never fully get out of that. But when we decide that we want to do things that are not morally right, that are not respectful to ourselves and respectful to the people we love, we are bowing down to the devil. We are allowing the devil to live in our life. People that think that's not true, I go to church every Sunday and I love God. That isn't loving God. Because you go to church every Sunday, we have to love God every day. We have to look at him and as our answers. We have to have faith in him. We have to have faith that he will come in and help us in our marriages. He will give us what it takes to make our marriages work and to make our sex lives better. And all we have to do is have honest to God faith and believe that the universe will help us when we're in trying times with anything that in our life. Lastly, reasons why married couples decide to be active as a swinger, and I have a list of it and I want to share it. Marriage and sex are separate. Some people look at marriage as a institution that is strictly about raising children in a stable environment, getting the tax break and other logical factors. So you're telling me that people are married for a tax break or to raise their children in a stable environment, but their happiness isn't important. You don't think those children don't feel that? You don't think that when you're staying in a marriage because you don't want to be divorced